Welcome back to the Chefing with Shane YouTube channel. Today we're making a delicious ribeye steak and a nice Greek inspired salad. Let's get into it. The key to making a delicious steak indoors is you first of all gotta let your steak sit out, get up to room temperature, because you don't want to cook your steak when it's colder because there's just more tension in the meat. Also, you want to dry it out a little bit, get a lot of this moisture out the outside, because it allows you to get a nice crust on it. So we're gonna leave this out for a bit. We're also gonna salt it. Thicker piece of meat is always harder to over salt. We're gonna salt that up, kind of rub that in, flip it over, salt some more. And the salt is gonna bring out more of that moisture. And the last thing we're gonna do prepping our ribeye is we're gonna score this fat. It really helps to render the fat during the cooking process. Just gonna make some cross cuts on the fat cap. Again, I'm cooking this steak indoors today, but you can cook it out on the grill. We've cut that fat so it'll render nice, so we've salted it. We're gonna let it sit for a couple minutes, get up to room temperature. We'll dry it off again, and then we'll start searing it up. All right, now while we let that steak rest, I've got 2 heads of romaine here. I cut it up, threw it in a salad spinner already. I washed my knife, always clean your knife. Let me get some more manageable pieces here. So we got the romaine, and we're just gonna chop it. Just like that. And guys, over here in Ohio, weather just started warming up. Who knows if it'll stick along. You know, over here in Ohio, it's like snow one day, 70 the next. Who knows? But it's nice out today. It's a good day for a nice, refreshing Greek style salad. So I'm gonna chop up the rest of this romaine and then we'll work on some of the other veggies. Okay, next, what I got here, I got a pint of red grape tomatoes, and we're just gonna quarter these. We're just gonna cut them once, cut them twice. Just cut them in quarters and throw them in with our salad. Now, you can do the lid trick where you got the little lid and you cut underneath it, half it, and do all that. But I'm just gonna cut these by hand, and I will see you guys after I'm done cutting these up. All right, our salad's getting there, guys. Now we're just gonna get 1 cup of cucumbers. I kind of eyeballed it. And then we're gonna kind of cube these up and make them into kind of smaller manageable pieces. Cut them a couple times. I think we're just gonna cut them up like that, and then we'll throw them in there. So I'm gonna do the rest of these and I'll get with you after that. All right, next we're gonna dice up a 1/4 cup of red onion. They make choppers too. You could always use a chopper, but we're just looking for pieces that aren't too big. That's probably good. A little bit smaller than definitely smaller than our cucumber, but you can always dice these a little finer. But that looks good to me. Dice the rest of these up, and it's coming together. All right, guys, this is coming together. Next on the list is 1 tablespoon freshly chopped parsley. And this might be more than a tablespoon. It's definitely looking like a couple tablespoons. As you chop it up, it'll go down, and we'll measure it out before we throw it in there. All right, those are done. Now, just gotta measure it out, throw in 1 tablespoon with your salad, save the rest for later. All right, look at how fresh that's looking, guys. Now we're gonna add in, we got 15.5 ounce can chickpeas in there. And then we're gonna add in 1/4 cup feta cheese. And then we're gonna mix that together. And we still gotta make this delicious dressing that's gonna go on top. But I can't wait, guys. This looks just so refreshing. It's gonna be so delicious. Let's get to making this dressing. All right, next we're gonna make this dressing. So I have a NutriBullet. You guys could use a blender. You guys could use an immersion blender as well. I'm gonna add in 1/4 cup of olive oil. Next, we're gonna add in 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. 1, 2, and 3. Then we're gonna go in there with 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. There's 1. There's 2. Next, I've minced up 1 garlic clove. We're gonna throw that in there. And I have minced up as well a 1/2 teaspoon of fresh oregano. You could use dried in a pinch. And lastly, we have a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And then we'll put the lid on and we're gonna mix this up. Like I said, a blender will do good and an immersion blender will do good as well. You don't need to have a NutriBullet, but let's blend this together. We just ran that through the blender, and guys, that looks nice and emulsified. You just want it to emulsify. You want that olive oil to not look separated out of everything. It smells delicious. Now we're gonna work on that steak. Okay, before we finally get to doing the steak, we gotta prep our stuff a little bit. So we got 4 cloves of garlic here that we're just gonna take the skin off of it. This one's tiny. And we'll use a bigger one. This one's already skinned anyways. All right, so what you're gonna do with these 4 cloves of garlic, you're just gonna crush them. And that way it'll open up some of that flavor. We're just gonna use the butter-based method on these steaks. So we need this garlic, we need a 1/2 stick of butter, and we're also gonna need about a handful of fresh thyme. And now we can finally start making that steak. All right, guys, so I got my big pan. I'm gonna throw enough olive oil in the bottom to kind of cover up the pan. All right, so now that meat is getting up to temperature. You know that when you hear that sear. Put it on there, press that meat down so it'll stay that shape. We also cut the fat so the steak won't curl up on us. Now I like my steak about medium, so I'm gonna cook this medium. You guys can always cook it a couple minutes longer if you like yours well done or medium well. But if you want a medium steak, I'm gonna take this about 2 to 3 minutes on a sear. Let it get nice and golden on the other side and we'll flip it over. We'll go over the process. All right, guys, I forgot to mention we have this on the medium high. Now we're gonna flip this over in a couple minutes. So you got that nice crust on there. And let this side cook up for about another 2 minutes, 1 to 2 minutes, and then we're gonna cut the heat and start basting. All right, it's been about 1.5 minutes. I'm gonna drop that heat down to medium. And we're gonna take these steaks, put them together. If you had 1, then you'd just do 2. But we're gonna take this fat, we're gonna put it on its side, put the oil in the corner, and we're gonna sear up this fat. And put the fat edge down, medium heat. Just gonna render that fat. Do that for about 1 minute. Fat's looking nice and brown. Next, 1/2 stick of butter. 4 garlic cloves, handful of thyme. Get you a spoon, large spoon. As the butter melts, you're just gonna repeatedly baste this steak. Put the thyme on top, the garlic. And baste this steak for about 2 minutes over medium heat. This is a lot easier if you're only making one steak, but what are the odds you're only making one steak? And guys, I'm telling you, I've cooked steak a lot of ways. This holds up to any grill method I've seen, the butter-based method. It's simple, you know, sometimes simple recipes are the best recipes. Let's give this one some love. All right, guys, we've been basting this steak for about 2 minutes. It's about ready. That's done, guys. So we're gonna cut the heat. This is my contraption, kind of made up. But you're gonna take that steak out, put it on your wire rack over a dish, and we're just gonna put some of that thyme on top of there, the garlic, and just pour your butter mixture on top. There's some more cloves on there. We're gonna let that steak rest for as long as we cooked it. Cooked it about 7 minutes. We'll let it rest for about 7 minutes. And it just allows it to rest. And guys, I've tried it both ways. I don't know the science behind it, but I'll tell you, letting your steak rest makes it taste 10 times better. Okay, while we're waiting on the steak, we're gonna dress this salad. I think it's just supposed to be like a light dressing. It's not supposed to be too overpowering, but there's a lot of flavor coming from this dressing. It smells delicious, it looks delicious. This is a delicious meal, sure to impress your husband, your wife, your girlfriend. Try it out. Let's cut open this steak, see how we did. Moment of truth, it's been resting almost 10 minutes. Time to cut into it and see how we did. And nice pink, probably more close to like a medium well-ish, but it's got pink in it. Did pretty good. Can't wait to enjoy. Time to plate this up. Got our nice piece of steak there. I'm gonna go down some of that delicious, refreshing salad. And that is the dish, guys. Let's try it out. Here's that steak, nice pink in it. Delicious. You can never go wrong with the steak. I'm gonna try out some of this delicious salad. Wow, that salad, nice and refreshing, delicious. Just the perfect meal. You got the delicious steak and then you got that nice refreshing salad. Great dinner for, honestly, any night, but great dinner for me personally for a nice day outside. You know, a cold day, you want more of like a soup, stew, lasagna kind of thing. But a nice steak, especially early in the year, springtime, delicious, hits the spot every time. Don't forget, like, subscribe, check out some of my other videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.